Today we'll be using a flathead screwdriver, a ratchet, a 5/8 spark plug socket, a 10mm socket, and a 6-inch extension. Now it is recommended to have a torque wrench for this job, but we're going to do the most common way that most people have access to. They have these basic tools, so we're going to show you how to do that right now. Alright, so now we're going to do the spark plug change. First thing we're going to do is take off the vtec cover off the head. Get your flathead screwdriver, and you'll see these turn clips. Just turn them about halfway, just like so, and the cover should just pop right out. And next up we have 2 bolts that are holding down the engine harness on the head. Get your 10mm, put it on your ratchet, and we start taking out those. Okay, now when we get these bolts out, a good idea is to have something to put them in. So you can put all your hardware inside the engine cover. We'll just flip that around, put everything there so we don't lose it. Now the reason we just did that is so we can loosen the engine harness, and it'll give us a little bit of slack when we're unplugging the coils. So we're going to go ahead and loosen all the coils. Take our 10mm, loosen them up, and then we can just start taking them out by hand, like so. And again, take these off, put them in the engine cover up there on top so we don't lose them either. At this point, you want to just lift the coil just a little bit. And then there's 2 tabs on the harness connecting to the coil on the left and the right. Just want to push down on those tabs, pull it back out. That'll disconnect the harness from the coil. Here's a good shot of those tabs for you. Go ahead and set the coils to the side. That's what they look like. And continue on. Get all 4 of them out. Alright, at this point, get your extension, put it on your ratchet, and get the 5/8 for the spark plug. So we're going to go ahead and assemble this. And go ahead and put it down in the area there. And lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. Don't forget that. You want to go to the left. And back that out. And once you got it out or untightened to a certain extent, go ahead. You can do it by hand. Go ahead and pull this spark plug out. Now, as you can see, the spark plug has not come out, but not to worry. You could use a rubber grommet on the socket itself, or you can get the coil, put it back through in the hole, and grab the spark plug with it, like so. Okay, so that's one. We'll set that aside. And go ahead and continue to do all 4 of them. And if you have trouble pulling it out with the coil, that means you probably didn't loosen it enough. As you see, we're going to have a little issue here. You can go ahead and watch how we failed here on this one, and then come back later on and then loosen it up some more to get it out. At this point, we're ready to put the new spark plugs in. You actually don't want to just drop them in there because you're gonna risk bending the tip here. And you know you're supposed to have them gapped. But this tutorial is not going to show you how to gap your spark plugs. We're just showing you how to replace them. So you could mess up the gapping on that. So one way that you could use a magnet to kind of put it back in there. You could try to put it back on your tool, but the best way we found is to just do it by hand. Get your finger and push inside it on the side wall there, and slide it down so it doesn't just immediately fall and mess anything up. So you can just slide it down and then go ahead and retighten it. Alright, so when it comes to tightening them back up, we're going to go ahead and use our hand here. As you can see, we're using our hand on the tool. We're not going to be getting the ratchet and assembling this thing, at least not yet. The reason we're doing that is because we want to make sure it's going into threads fine. You don't want to cross thread anything. If you do, you can have a major problem. So go ahead and make sure they're going in correctly by hand first before you do anything seriously like tightening them down. So here we are doing that. Now we're going to get our tool, assemble it on top, and go ahead and tighten them down. You want to make sure you do it tight enough to where it feels like, it's nice and tight, but you do not want to over tighten them. You also don't want to leave them too loose because they could pop out on you. And again, it is recommended to use a torque wrench, torque it to specs, but this is the most common way of doing it. From here on, it's pretty simple. Go ahead and put the coils back on, plug the harness in, push it down into place. Do that for all 4 of them. Now grab the nut that holds the coil on, put it back on the place, tighten that down. Go ahead and do this for all 4 of them. Grab your 10mm bolts, put them back on the engine harness, put it in by hand, make sure it's going in good. Then you'll get your ratchet again with a 10mm on it, tighten it down all the way. Now simply get your engine cover, put it back in, pop it into place, and put those screws back down. Get your flathead and retighten that back to where it was, and that's how you do it.